Hi, Brian Jackson here for IT World Canada with another Head Honcho Hangout. Today, my head honcho is Amir Hussain, the Chief Technology Officer for CenturyLink. Welcome, Amir.
Hello, Brian. Thank you.
I'm glad you could join us from Seattle there. We had some audio issues, but we got it worked out. So it just goes to show that even tech-savvy people can run into tech problems from time to time. But Amir, why don't you get us started off with a little bit of an elevator pitch for those not familiar with CenturyLink. What is the company?
So CenturyLink is a global communications hybrid IT company. We enable millions of customers to connect to digital economy using our broadband connectivity. And then we provide them complementary services, over-the-top managed services, things like hosted cloud IT, hybrid IT, and analytics and other services. We've got a vast network in North America. We have about 250,000 miles of fiber, and internationally, if you include our 85 country footprints, about another 300,000 miles of fiber. 20% of the worldwide traffic actually passes through our network, and we've got a vast reach, and we've got customers anywhere from a smaller customer all the way to the U.S. government. About 18 billion in revenue, and a pretty successful company that has grown through multiple acquisitions, and growth in both consumer, wholesale, retail, and global sector over the last 15 to 20 years.
Very good. All right, so great. We know that CenturyLink has been entering into the Canadian market more so over the last 18 months, last 2 years. And I wonder if you can bring us up to date on your data center operations in Canada. What we do know right now is that you opened a new data center in Toronto last year. And then you said that by the end of 2015, you wanted another new data center to be opened perhaps in Montreal. So I wonder, has that happened, or what else has been going on with your data center expansion?
Right, let me just clarify this. So we actually have data centers in Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto. And Toronto, we opened a new data center in August of 2014, or about 2 megawatt. And we have the capability to expand it to another 3 megawatt based on demand. We are seeing very, very decent demand in Toronto. We have seen a tremendous amount of demand in both Montreal and Vancouver. And as demand grows, we'll continue to invest.
Okay, so where was that newest data center opened, or is that something that's still in the works?
The newest data center was opened in Toronto.
Okay, so what happened to the other project?
Which other project are you referring to?
Oh, so in the last time we reported on the data centers, somebody from CenturyLink told us that you had plans to open another data center, I think in Quebec area, or it might have been Montreal, although I know you have a data center there. But is there any plans to open up another data center in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the demand, right? We're seeing pretty decent demand in Toronto. We have still have capacity that's unused, and as capacity grows, we do investments based on demand, and we are very opportunistic. And where there is demand, there will be capacity and there'll be growth. And sometimes we'll just grow on the existing data center. Sometimes we look to expand it. What we have done over the last year or so, we have added a significant amount of cloud capacity into all of our data centers. We added more cloud pods and enhanced that. But as far as adding a new data center over and above what we already have, we are not doing it right now because we have capacity to address our customers' needs.
Okay, good to know. So another discussion we've heard out of CenturyLink over the past year is a lot about this virtualization strategy of yours. And I wonder if you can fill me in on that and what you hope to accomplish with it.
Virtualization is all about making customers' life easier so that they can get on-demand bandwidth and services from us. So we started this journey back in 2013. We took our data path and we completely virtualized it, and we added it to about 44 different locations in 8 different countries. So what does that really mean? That means a customer who buys an MPLS service from us today, where we would have to, run a cable or to their location, run fiber to their location, add devices to their location, do truck rolls or whatnot. All that could be done just on a click of a button, because we have virtualized the routing capabilities. We have virtualized services such as content delivery networks, firewalls, load balancers, and that journey will continue to happen. Our goal really is that in the next 3 to 4 years, almost all of our key parts of our network where we provide services today could be reached by our customers on a virtualized fashion. And that will just help grow their capacity and meet our customers' needs much faster than how we were able to do in the past. This also goes a step further, where we actually have created a marketplace where customers can buy multiple services from us, obviously on demand, and then the network self-heals, self-corrects based on the past and predictive behavior on how the customers are using the network. And that is a key differentiation from us and the other providers who have been deploying SDN and NFV type technologies within their networks.
Can you tell us a bit about the virtualization technology you're using in the back end? Is it from a particular vendor, or is it open source?
Yeah, so it's a mixture of both. We have the NFV part. So far, what we have built, we used OpenStack to do a lot of development initially, and we have used a controller from NoEdge, and we have enabled on top of that an orchestration from Cyan Blue Planet, which was acquired by Ciena. Our goal is really to have a mega orchestrator that is able to orchestrate between different controllers, because this, just like in the network world where you have multiple vendors in the network, you will have multiple virtualized vendors and virtualized solutions in the network, and we need to be able to orchestrate between those two multiple solutions using our own internal technology. So we are writing some code ourselves. We are partnering with other vendors. So it's kind of a mixture of our own code, which is totally based on Open Daylight, OpenStack, and vendor partnership between multiple vendors.
Okay, well, tell us about I know this is this virtualization strategy is something you're rolling out to your various data centers. Are the ones in Canada enabled with that now?
Canada is not enabled yet. I think the first step in Canada for us is to expand our cloud services, which we are very, very committed to. And we have something else called the CenturyLink platform, which is basically a platform that enables the customer to buy cloud and network services seamlessly. And we have enabled that in Canada first. And as that grows, we will eventually, over a period of time, virtualize parts of our network, because in Canada, we do business with multiple partners, and we may not use our end network to provide all services. And we want to see that expand before we go and add an NFV or SDN part in Canada.
Okay. So any timeline for that?
I mean, we are seeing a tremendous amount of demand from Canada. I was just there last week and met with a few more customers. They really like what they see, and they are consuming our services. And I'd like to be able to finish out our massive expansion, which will take us another 18 to 24 months. So within 24 months, we'll look to evaluate when and if we can virtualize the networking functions in Canada.
Okay, good to know. Well, CenturyLink's not the only one that's expanding in Canada. In fact, a lot of people here are talking about this data center land rush. We're seeing big telecommunications companies get involved, and vendors from big software vendors are opening up their own data centers here in Canada. So there's just millions of square feet of new data centers opening up here. So I wonder, being involved in that and with plans to expand in Canada, talk to me about that trend. What are we seeing? Why is there so much demand in Canada for these new data centers?
Canada, the IT market, the IT industries, Canada is pretty advanced, but a lot of this work was done in-house. Now, everybody just like Canadian IT managers in the IT space, are up against the same issue. How do they, adapt new technology much faster than what they have been able to do in the past? And how do they do it with a cost model that is dynamic, that fluctuates, without having to add all that cost into their own infrastructure? And the technology also has matured tremendously over the last 4 or 5 years. So Canadian market has realized that. I'm seeing many customers of ours who just used to host from us in the past are now moving from just hosting into full virtualization. So hosting has been a trend in Canada for last several years, and as more and more stuff moves out in the cloud, that demand continues to grow, whether they host their infrastructure and manage it themselves, or whether they partner with providers like ourselves and re-virtualize and manage their infrastructure and control their hybrid IT environment. That trend has really kicked up a notch over the last several months, and we are seeing a lot more engagement from Canadian customers, and they want to kind of follow where the world is going, and they see it's good for business.
All right. Now, one more report I saw come out of CenturyLink, and I wanted to see if perhaps there was something Canada could learn out of this, because of course, as a global company, you're doing business in Australia, and you might, there's a lot of parallels between the Canadian economy and Australia's economy, about the same size, similar GDPs, similar systems of government here. And I just wonder if there's anything to be learned out of a recent study you did there about hybrid IT as the preferred architecture coming out of Australia. And I wonder, do you think that's the type of infrastructure that Canadians might prefer as well?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw a tremendous amount of opportunity in Australia, where companies, they first innovated in the public cloud space, and as that grew, there was more isolation in that space within their workloads. They felt more comfortable in moving it to a private cloud, and this whole hybrid IT movement actually started. Canada is really can draw a parallel to that. We are actually seeing that in the marketplace, and that is why we are seeing the growth we are seeing in our data centers, co-location services, and cloud services in Canada as well. I actually see Canada maybe outpacing the next couple of years even some of the other markets in the world, because there's tremendous amount of demand, and there's a huge need to move this infrastructure in the cloud domain and have a hybrid IT infrastructure that managers can hybrid IT infrastructure that IT managers and developers can innovate upon. So you are absolutely right. Canada can take a page from what's been done in Australia and explore that, and I think that's already happening.
Okay, Amir, thanks so much for answering my questions today. I'll give you the final word. Anything else that you want our audience to know about CenturyLink? I'm sure Canadians will be hearing more about your company. I mean, especially those that work in the IT space for in the year ahead. So, what do you want them to know?
I think one key thing that I would want everybody to walk away with is CenturyLink is a very innovative company. Right? We have innovated in the past. We are innovating now. We'll continue to innovate, so that the customers don't have to worry about their infrastructure. We do help connect our customers to digital economy, and we have multiple programs that are running in parallel that helps meet that goal. And we are a one-stop shop. We are easy to do business with. When the customers want to do something, they should just focus on their own business and leave the complexity to us, and we'll make simple for them. So for us, it's all about simplicity.
Great stuff. That's what businesses want to hear, right? Simple approaches and services that are taken care of for them. So thank you again so much, Amir. And I'm Brian Jackson for IT World Canada. If you're watching this video, there's more Head Honcho Hangouts that I've done that you can watch as well. So check out those below this video in the related category. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.